How's everyone doing? This is going to be a random Blu-ray shelf video. If you've seen any of these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them as well. Now, all of these Blu-rays on this shelf are horror Blu-rays, and they're not in any particular order. They're not alphabetized or anything like that. I just put them on the shelf to get them off the floor and make them a little presentable. But let's check them out. All horror right here. And there you go, that shelf right there. And I'll just give you a quick overview of the collection as well. There's some stuff right there on the floor. And there's those two shelves right there. Pretty tall shelves. And then there's that shelf right there. And I've got some miscellaneous movies a little bit everywhere. Some stuff right there. Movies in there. And then all in the closet as well. Pretty stacked up in there. But now let's get on to this random Blu-ray shelf. Random Blu-ray shelf of horror movies. And again, if you've seen these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them as well. But here we go. First up is Dead Snow. Hilarious. Love this movie. Again, how can you go wrong with killer Nazi zombies? Awesome. Love that one. The Shining. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Shining deserves a special edition. All these movies getting special editions and box sets and things like that. The Shining deserves that treatment. A classic movie. Sadako 3D. The latest in the Ring series. Tormented 3D. And this is the new Exorcist 40th Anniversary Edition right there in the nice box set with some new special features. Next up we have the Nightmare on Elm Street collection right there. I feel like this could have deserved a bigger box set as well, but I'm alright with it. Q the Winged Serpent. Really enjoy this movie as well. Good cast. The Theater Bazaar, a mixed bag horror anthology movie right there. Some good segments, some not so good. The wraparound story I didn't care for at all. But they had some creepy moments in there as well. And I do like all the new horror anthology movies coming out. Some creative ideas in there. Next up is Lovely Molly. Now this is going to be a love it or hate it movie. I thought this movie was incredibly creepy and atmospheric all throughout. And the ending was interesting. It does leave you with some unanswered questions. But the special features in here has a lot of information. The special features made me feel like Blair Witch. And it's from Eduardo Sanchez, who also directed Blair Witch. But I highly prefer Lovely Molly. I'm not a fan of Blair Witch at all. Blair Witch Project. I just thought that was probably the most overrated horror movie ever, in my opinion. It's just people going out into the woods with a camera. I feel like anybody could have made that movie. Just know how to make snot bubbles and cry on command and make little stick figures. There's nothing scary at all, except for how overrated that movie is. Great media marketing, though. I mean, the marketing was genius. That was the best thing about Blair Witch Project. Anyways, I'm rambling and ranting. Next up is Fright Night 2, New Blood. Right there. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it still wasn't very good. I like the lead actress who played the lead female vampire. She was really good. And the guy who played Evil Ed was pretty good as well. But the other two leads, the love interest and then the guy who played Charlie Brewster, I thought they were kind of miscast. I didn't really care for their acting. But I hope this release will push the original Fright Night 2 to get a Blu-ray release. And next up is The Colony, directed by Jeff Renfro right here, starring Lawrence Fishburne and Bill Paxton. Pretty enjoyable post-apocalyptic Ice Age movie with cannibals, of course, because all post-apocalyptic movies have cannibals in them. There's a double feature right here from Mill Creek, Mr. Sardonicus and the Brotherhood of Satan. There's Borgnine in there. Anatomy and Anatomy 2, another double feature from Mill Creek, German medical school horror movies. I actually think I prefer Anatomy 2 over the first one, but both pretty enjoyable. Next up is another double feature right here from Mill Creek, Hollow Man or Hollow Man 2. I'm almost thinking about like trading this one away because I like Hollow Man. I have this solo release for Hollow Man on Blu-ray. Kevin Bacon plays a great jerk, but Hollow Man 2 I just did not care for at all. Christian Slater was the lead actor in there, but he was only in the movie for like 2 minutes. screen time wise. The rest of the movie was him, you know, being invisible, and you could hear him talking. But I wonder if that was even him talking, because it didn't even sound like him fully. It sounded like somebody doing a Christian Slater impression. I wonder if he was just on set for a couple days and just had time to shoot a couple scenes, and the rest of the time somebody was pretending to be him, voice-wise, because he was only on screen for a couple minutes. And yeah, that movie just was not very good in my opinion. Next up is the multi-feature right here for From Dusk Till Dawn 1, 2, and 3. From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money. People crap on that all the time, but I love it. From Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter. I thought that was decently enjoyable as well. And then Full Tilt Boogie, behind-the-scenes documentary on From Dusk Till Dawn. Next up is Death Ship. This is one I remember seeing when I was younger and liking it when I was younger, and now after rewatch, it's not quite as good. It doesn't really live up to the memory. Good cast, though. Dead Girl. Very unique film. This is basically zombie rape. That's what this movie can be summed up as. Zombie rape. Unrated director's cut right there. Creepshow. Classic horror anthology movie. If you've seen Creepshow, let me know what your favorite segment from Creepshow is. For me, it's The Crate. Love The Crate. And Adrienne Barbeau. Awesome. Cube. Fantastic sci-fi horror film. Shout out to Cube Zero as well. It's a Canadian Blu-ray release. And next up is Inside. This is I believe this is a Taiwanese release for it. And it's a French film. Great splatter slasher film. Love that new French new wave. I love Livid as well. The directors of Inside also directed Livid, which is pretty cool. Very mixed bag towards the end. It's trying to do so much with Livid. But Inside is just awesome. One of my new favorite films ever. All time. But this release, though, I have to see if it's the cut version or not, because I just popped it in to check out a couple scenes, and one of the scenes was different than I initially remembered. I have the DVD still, so I'm going to compare it. There's the DVD right there, actually. And I'm going to compare it just to see if this is cut or not. But one scene was different than how I remembered, but maybe my memory isn't that great. I Spit in Your Grave 2, which I still have yet to check out. I've heard great things. It's a blind buy. No One Lives. I actually saw this ages ago, and I did a review for it. I just never posted it. I'll get on that eventually one day. Yeah. But I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought the twist was cool, and some good tension. Piranha 3 Double D. I actually prefer this over Piranha 3D. I know that I'm probably the only one, and I'm cool with that. David Hasselhoff made this movie. Don't hassle the Hoff. Just cheesy fun. Heartless. We Are What We Are, which they've already remade. So many remakes. Just watch some subtitles. Just come on, give it a shot. Try it out. The more you watch movies with subtitles, the easier it becomes to retain. And yeah, so many remakes that are coming out are just unnecessary in my opinion. I mean, there are a couple good ones, but the ones where they do for foreign movies, if a foreign movie does decently well, just decently well, they remake it over here in America within like 1 to 2 years afterwards. I'm like, it's crazy. I'm ranting again, sorry. Sector 7 3D. Exit Humanity, a Civil War zombie film. Very dramatically paced. Great cast, though. The Orphanage. I think the pacing kind of hinders the popularity for this movie. I think more people would enjoy it if it had a little bit more action going on, but I still enjoyed it. Again, The Orphanage. From Beyond, which is a fantastic sci-fi horror film. My favorite Stuart Gordon film. And I feel like this movie is still underrated, even though it has a Scream Factory Blu-ray release. Scream Factory doing a great job with their releases. I don't really like the new artwork, but I didn't like the old artwork either. But love the movie. They Live, which I love the heck out of this artwork. I wish I would have pre-ordered it so I could have gotten the poster. I dropped the ball on that one, but They Live, love that movie, love the artwork. Curse of Chucky, and I did a full movie review of Curse of Chucky, so if you want to see that, just click right here on this Blu-ray. It'll bring you to my movie review of Curse of Chucky. I enjoyed the heck out of Curse of Chucky. House of Bones, it was decent, it was alright. That was a blind buy. It was okay, I'm happy with that, I didn't pay too much for it. Hands of the Ripper, Synapse release. Street Trash, another Synapse release, and this blew me away. The transfer was awesome. It reminded me a lot of the transfer for Basket Case, which the Basket Case transfer looked awesome, and I felt the same way about Street Trash. impressed with the way this looks. Synapse did a great job with that transfer, and great special features in here as well. Just a trashy, sleazy, fun, cheesy movie that I remember enjoying since I was like a little kid, and very happy to have that on Blu-ray. Definitely worth picking up if you're a fan of the movie. Maniac, which has become one of my all-time favorite horror remakes now. I know it's a newer film, but wow, Frodo killed it in here. He blew me away with his performance, and the whole cast was great. All the actresses in here were stunningly beautiful, and great gore. Just a top-notch horror remake, Maniac. Ninja 3 Domination. This was on sale on Amazon for like $8.99 or something like that, so had to pick it up. Doll Man. The Road, which this is so underrated. I never hear anybody talk about this movie. Incredibly creepy and atmospheric. And I was able to get The Road signed by the director as well right there on the front cover. However, he signed on the actual plastic case instead of the interior artwork. So, yeah. He also did sign the disc as well, which is in black ink, so it's a little bit hard to make out right there on the disc. I assume he has not signed many things before, otherwise he wasn't aware of, you know, it's best to sign on the artwork. They slides right out. But still very cool to have him sign this, and it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it, and definitely underrated and one that people should check out. Oh man, this movie had some really creepy imagery going on in here. That imagery was just fantastic. Atmosphere to the max there. Life Force, which again I feel is still underrated even though it has a Scream Factory Blu-ray release. Just love this movie. It's great to, you know, see more exposure for it now with this Blu-ray release, and fantastic sci-fi horror film, sci-fi vampire film right there. Creepshow 2. Pretty good horror anthology as well. Thanks for the ride, lady. Idle Hands. Hatchet 3, which I was able to get signed up by a bunch of the people involved with the film. Kane Hodder, Caroline Williams, Adam Green, just a bunch of people. And I love the heck out of this movie. I thought it was a great part of the franchise right there. It's the third one. I hope they make more. The only one I didn't really care for was Hatchet 2. I thought Hatchet 2 could be boiled down to 2 kill scenes in the movie. The rest of the movie was just too derivative and nothing too new, and just kind of didn't do it for me. The first Hatchet I love though. And Hatchet 3 I love as well. Great cameos all throughout Hatchet 3. And Danielle Harris, muy picante. Playback, which I super underrated. Next few of these ones are movies that I consider underrated. I'm doing another underrated horror movies on Blu-ray video, and the next few are going to be in that video. So there's a sneak peek for you. Playback right here with Christian Slater. He's not in it for too long in the movie, but super creepy and atmospheric movie. There's aspects of it that kind of remind me of The Ring, because there's you have to watch a tape kind of thing going on in there, but awesome movie. Loved it. Excision. Again, another really underrated movie in my opinion. Great performances by the lead, Annalyn McCord, and Tracy Lords as well, and some cool cameos in here. You got John Waters, which I thought his role in the movie was great. Perfect for him. And this was a really kind of a psychosexual horror movie, and also a kind of a black comedy as well. Triangle, with the cool UK lenticular slipcover. I really love that movie. Creepy, and just, again, another movie I consider underrated. The Others, this has become one of my all-time favorite ghost story movies. Julia's Eyes, creepy and atmospheric again. Really enjoyed that one. Pontypool, psychological horror to the max. I love the way that it lets the viewer's imagination kind of take over, and really enjoyable performance from Stephen McHattie, who I think is an underrated actor. He's been around for a long time in Canada, but he's getting more exposure now in the US, which is great. And really love Pontypool. I did a full movie review of this. You can check that out right here. You can click right there, and I'll bring you to that review. Next up is Identity. Great cast, creepy, and lots of tension throughout, and kind of a unique twist. The Horde, which is a French zombie film. Love this movie up until the ending. The ending kind of annoyed me a little bit, and that's a Canadian release. The Pact. Now this is like the epitome of creepiness and atmospheric. Love this movie. It's a kind of like a ghost revenge film in a way, but really enjoyable film. Super underrated. Ticks, great cast. Seth Green and Alfonso Ribeiro who played Carlton in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just cheesy, awesome fun. Clint Howard's in here as well. Giant killer ticks. I mean, you can't go wrong there. Awesome. Ricky-O, the story of Ricky. Action, horror, just punching through stomachs, blood everywhere, punching through walls. People the warden turned into like a big creature, like a big monster. I mean, this movie's just insane. Fun, cheesy horror right there. Beneath the Darkness with Dennis Quaid. Scream 4. Welcome to the Jungle. Makes me just want to break out into song right there. Guns N' Roses style. Vinyan Lost Souls. That's the last one right there. Kind of reminds me of the movie Antichrist, but nowhere near as good. And Welcome to the Jungle is kind of, I'm not going to say a ripoff, but maybe an homage, if you will, to Cannibal Holocaust a little bit. And those types of movies. So there you go. There's that random Blu-ray shelf. All horror movies. And I hope you enjoyed that random Blu-ray shelf. And if you've seen any of those movies, definitely let me know what you think of them as well. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.